Now, as I'm doing this special segment, it's June 19th, and June 19th is also known as Juneteenth. Now, on Freedom's Eve, or the eve of January 1st, 1863, the first watch night services took place. On that night, enslaved and free African Americans gathered in churches and private homes all across the country awaiting news that the Emancipation Proclamation had taken effect. At the stroke of midnight, prayers were answered as all enslaved people in the Confederate States were declared legally free. Union soldiers, many of whom were black, marched on the plantations and across cities in the South, reading small copies of the Emancipation Proclamation, spreading the news of freedom in the Confederate States. Only through the 13th Amendment did emancipation end slavery throughout the United States, but not everyone in Confederate territory would immediately be free. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863, it could not be implemented in places still under Confederate control. As a result, in the westernmost Confederate state of Texas, enslaved people would not be free until much later. Freedom finally came on June 19, 1865, when some 2,000 Union troops arrived at Galveston Bay, Texas. The Army announced that the more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state were free by executive decree. This day came to be known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people in Texas. And really, you know, it's been over 160 years since then, but that's still something to shout about. I mean, to think that at one point we were forced to do things against our wills, and then this happens to the point where we have freedom. But we still, you know, it's been over 160 years, and we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go until we finally get what we truly deserve. Now, look, I just want to say this to anyone. We don't, and I'm talking about black people, we don't want to rule the world. We don't want to take over anything. We don't want to rule anything. We don't want to go around with iron fists. No. We don't want that. All we want is the same respect and adoration as the next person. Nothing more. All right, this is a Juneteenth Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $19, and I will donate half of each purchase to the main headquarters of the NAACP. All right, on my last visit to Excalibur Comics, I decided to split the books in half. What you're going to see right now is the front half of the books that I bought on my last visit, and you'll see the back half later on. And I'm going to reveal the front half right now, so here we go. First up is Absolute Batman number 21. Absolute Flash number 16. Absolute Green Arrow number 2. The Amazing Spider-Man number 31. Batman Superman World's Finest number 52. Catwoman number 88. Imperial Guardians number 4. And finally, Inglorious X-Force number 6.
2, 3, 4.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. The summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode, I'm celebrating the 85th anniversary of Wonder Woman. Now I'm going to touch base on her later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked, which actor attempted to develop and star in a Black Panther movie in 1992, but couldn't find the right script, director, and technology to do so? Well, the correct answer is Wesley Snipes. And 8 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this episode of the show is... Ebony Slate from Minden, Louisiana. So congratulations, Ebony. You get yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and because I'm celebrating the 85th anniversary of Wonder Woman on this episode, this question has something to do with Wonder Woman. Champa, Wonder Woman's pet on the island of Themyscira, is what type of animal? Is it A, a koala, B, a kangaroo, or C, a platypus? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this animal is a large, herbivorous marsupial native to Australia, known for its powerful hind legs for hopping, strong tails for balance, and pouches for carrying its young. And the second hint, baby versions of this animal are called joeys. The third hint, Zippy, the mascot for the University of Akron, is this type of animal. And then the fourth and final hint, Captain Blank. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. All right, I hope you all enjoyed the Juneteenth segment at the beginning of this episode. And due to the length of it, I'm not going to feature a throwdown showdown fight or an any question segment. I'm going to table that for a later episode. So with that being said, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Mumra the Ever-Living, number 3. New Titans, number 36. Sorcerer Supreme, number 7. Superman Unlimited, number 14. Thundercats Silverhawks, number 2. The Uncanny X-Men, number 30. And finally, Wonder Man, number 4. All right, that's 7, which brings the total number of comics that I've watched since December of 1997 to 14,693. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode, and here's a question again for our free tee for next week's episode of the show. Champa, Wonder Woman's pet on the island of Themyscira is what type of animal? Is it A, a koala, B, a kangaroo, or C, a platypus? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this animal is a large herbivorous marsupial native to Australia, known for its powerful hind legs for hopping, strong tails for balance, and pouches for carrying its young. The second hint, baby versions of this animal are called joeys. The third hint, Zippy, the mascot for the University of Akron, is this type of animal. And then the fourth and final hint, Captain Blank. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Ebony Slate from Minden, Louisiana, who won a free tea on this episode. All right, on this episode, as part of my Summer of Superhero series, I'm celebrating the 85th anniversary of Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman is a DC Comics superheroine and an Amazonian warrior princess from the island of Themyscira. She was created by William Moulton Marston and H.G. Peter and made her first appearance in All-Star Comics number 8 in 1941. She is known as an ambassador for peace, love, and justice, fighting evil with superhuman strength, speed, her iconic lasso of truth, and bullet deflecting bracelets. A founding member of the Justice League, she is a major figure in the comics, film, and television, symbolizing female empowerment and strength. Now, Marston, a psychologist, intended for her to be a feminist icon and a symbol for the new type of women. Throughout her history, she has been just that. There have been different actresses who have portrayed her on both the big and small screens, with Linda Carter being the most well-known. And Wonder Woman is one of my favorite superheroes. Now keep in mind, I didn't say female superhero, I said superhero in general. One thing about me, when it comes to superheroes, I don't separate them by gender. I don't separate them by gender, I don't separate them by race or whatever walk of life they may come from. And Wonder Woman is definitely top tier. All right, this is a Wonder Woman comic hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $20. All right, here's the roadhead for the show. On next week's episode, in anticipation of the forthcoming movie that's coming out in theaters this coming weekend, I'm going to show some love to Supergirl. Then on episode 568, I'm celebrating the 85th anniversary of Captain America. Then on episode 569, I'm celebrating the 65th anniversary of Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Careers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube, hit subscribe. And if you're watching this, or rather listening to this, on Buzzsprout, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. You can even subscribe on Buzzsprout if you want to. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on The Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 567. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.